Let's look back at how we got to where we are. August 2025. I bought this Mercedes Benz C200 for $1,000. This is something I'd always wanted to do. Got it home, got it stripped, started doing some repairs, things I'd never done before, cleaning it up, buying parts, getting body parts, getting the family involved, getting it into my workshop finally, and then just started doing more things to it, buying more things for it, fixing things that I hadn't done before, changing seat covers. I had never done this. This was a dream come true, turning something that wasn't so great before into something far better at the end. Pulling dents out of doors. I had never done this. Am I using the right tools? Finding out, buying correct tools to do these things. I've never put a grinder on a door before. I'm not a welder, but I'm giving it a go. This is something I've watched so many other people do over the years, and it's my turn to get involved. The time I got to spend with my kids doing this who wanted to help out. This has just been an amazing journey. I've never painted and I've always wanted to do this. And here I was, painting car parts, buying the parts, setting it up. And what a painting experience it has been. I have learned so much, putting together thoughts on how I can improve what already exists on the car, and to getting it to where we are now. Team, welcome back. Part 14 of the C200 Rebuild is here. I cannot believe it was August 2025 when I first bought the C200 and got it home and started this project. It was something I'd always wanted to do. It's not the first time I've done a crash damaged car. I worked on my HT Holden over 20 years ago. And here we are now working on the Mercedes Benz. So, where to from here? Well, it's get the front end back on. After all the painting, clear coating, repainting, rear clear coating, repainting, rear clear coating, because of my learning curves on runs and so forth. We're here. I've got everything else I'm sure I need to do. There's a few things I'm not sure if I've shown you or not in the past. They're all still to go inside and out. So let's dive in and let's get the car completed. Team, the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove this chrome trim off the boot here, and then that plus the two chrome covers that go over the daytime running lights have to be turned into a gloss black. So I'm going to look for someone who can do a vinyl wrap on them, and then they can go back on to fit with the rest of the theme of the car. Let's get this off first. And to do that, we're going to take out these two torque screws on the bottom, on the back of this boot trim. Then once they're done, it's the four torque screws, smaller ones, on the plastic trim on the bottom. Once they're out, there's three plastic clips holding that in, and then that'll come off. And all you're going to do then is just twist and undo the light. That trim is now free. Got all the clips out, just need to remove the triangle holder. There was no triangle in here, so maybe we're going to hunt one down. Anyway, it looks like it just clips in. I'm actually not even 100% sure because you can see those moving. There we go. Oh, that comes off. As well as that one. And that one. Oh, it's clipped into the bottom. Maybe. Ah, look at that. And the trim is all undone. That just pulls out of there. And there are two torque screws. And there, T-torque 20 as well. After all that, got it out. There were definitely the two screws that I pointed out were what was holding it in. It did clip in, but without those two screws out, it will not come out. Hence, all that did have to come off. So, that is how to remove chrome trim off your W204 C-Class Mercedes Benz. And while the trim's off, we'll use a damp rag and give it a really quick clean. Right, let's get to the front of the car. I think putting the headlight in, getting it connected is the first step. I'm trying to work out in my head, do I have all the bolts done up mostly or just loosely, because it's going to be some realignment. Even though we've done it once before, that wasn't perfect. So put the headlight in, put the fender on, connect everything back onto the bumper. That's the hinges, the rubber on the front, and the two clips that clip onto the front, the springs, and then also the bumper. All of that back in, the sensors, the wiring, all the plastic trim that internally that hold the bumper and make it rigid. So I just can't put in the daytime running lights because I've got to get the wrap done. So first thing, headlight. Okay, going to just give this airbox a quick wipe over first because it was in the same box as the headlight, and as you might be able to see, it is dirty as an inside. There's just dust everywhere where you live. So give it a clean and put it back on. I've still got to get the other clip for this side. I'm not sure which I bet is. It's not massively required. But there's only one holding it. We need one for the other side just to pull it in. It's in through the headlight. Got the bonnet adjustable stopper here. Let's shove that in. Put this in place. That is the bonnet latch there. That sits on top. This sits underneath and in front, in between. Here we go. There's two down here on the inside. Through. Here we go. 2 bolts. Uno. Duo. Get this onto here. Clips onto there. Let's connect the headlight wire and see that it works. Here is said headlight wire. And, oh, yep, you hear a clicking noise. Awesome. Let's check that it works. Jasmine gave me a hand here and pointed out what was happening out the front while I was sitting in the car. Unfortunately, she didn't see at the time as part of the little C-shaped or D-shaped running lights. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, that one's on. Yeah, that one's on. They're all working.
And the headlights are on.
Yeah.
Woo! Happy days. You know what? Let's get this side mirror on because it can go back on and it's all hanging down and in the way when we open the door. So let's do that. Okay, feed the wire through the hole. Put it in place. That's got to go under the trim. Cool. That's now in place. 3 screws, 225. Okay, we'll give this a quick wipe here, just with a wet damp rag, just to get into this spot that we can't get into normally when it is in place. This mirror wire needs to be fed through, and it needs to be plugged back into here, and can only go in one place, and that is this one here. Here's the foam spot that goes in here somehow. That fits the tweeter like so, which means that's going to go like up there. Fits in there. That wire pushes in Along with that, this edge clips in here and then clips on the front. See that? And that edge there? Except, did it with the window down originally, just to make it a tad easier. Yep, this edge into here, much easier to see now, isn't it? That edge and then to the front. Like a glove! Now the front trim will literally just clip on. This slides in through the back and the two clip onto the front. Into said back and 1, 2. Mirror back on. While we're here, because it's quick and easy, when we did the seat, both the seats came out so we could clean all the carpets. I never put this trim back in here, and I left it in the front little compartment here, so let's just clip it back on. So these go in first, and then it clips at the bottom. This will be easier with the seat forward, like so. Through there, in. There's one side there too. That is it done. Let's go do the other side. Done. Another super quick, easy job. Let's just get these trims back in place after we get said sticks and rubbish from out of it. That is that. Back in. Done. Let's get on to the next thing. Rushing to put the headlight in. This bottom part of the bracket here is supposed to be inside the front crash bar. So we've already taken the bolts out. Now we'll just redo it again. With it now in the right place. We'll put the bolts back in. Now as you can see on this driver's side light, there's a little light there that's not lit up that I'm pointing to. That is lit up on the other side. No good like that. Team, it is late. It's like getting nearly 9 PM and I have gotten bugger all done in the last few hours, other than having dinner, which didn't take long. I've just shown you some vision of one of the daytime running lights not working on the driver's side. So have a look at this. I took the headlight bracket out just to check it out, make sure the pins were fine, not bent or anything, and they're fine. And I looked inside to check where that daytime running light, where it is and what it plugs into. And if you see it down there, there's a black and white wire with a white plug plugged into that little circuit board on there, down the end. Well, I took this plate off, and do you think that's supposed to be plugged in? As you can see, the wire was trapped here, this rubber was sticking out. So I've put that back in place, and that was sitting there. So do you think it might work once I plug it in? Sometimes it's worth just having a look at yourself. I've pulled electronics apart since I was a kid to see how things work, and sometimes it's just simple. So I'll plug it in, put this back together, plug it in to the wiring harness, and check that that light comes on, and then I'll bolt it back in. Satisfaction, people. Satisfaction. Fixed. Well, as part of the whole headlight wiring and why I was even looking at it intently was I need to connect this to the headlight wire. That is the other end of this. Because I want it to illuminate at night time. But it is not as simple as 2 wires. I know which one the ground is. There's a brown wire on there. In fact, there's 2 brown wires. But as for which end the power wire goes to? Nope. Right, let's get the fender on. First thing I'm going to do is put this nice clean plastic end piece on the end of the fender, and then we will lightly put it in place and put the bolts in. There's just 4 plastic clips that hold this in place. 2 are slightly smaller than the others. The top 2 are the smaller ones, and the bottom 2 are the larger ones. Done. Like I bought one. It is starting to look like a car again. Fender is on. These just nipped up. I haven't put the one through here yet. I'll put it in loosely. There's 2 nuts on. They're just nipped up. Headlight again, nipped up. Because once all the panels are on, then we can start moving things around. There are so many points of adjustment right here from the bumper, moving that on its own compared to moving the entire frame, like bracket frame, which moves that as well. So there's plenty of movement in plenty of places, so we can get this looking as best as I can. Well, I think next is to turn the bonnet over and start putting everything back on it. So this last fender bolt, I've just put it in just so you get an understanding. I needed to put some extensions together with a 10mm socket so that I could get this 10mm bolt all the way into there. So let's get this bonnet back together. First thing to do is to put on the nicely new painted gloss black bonnet hinges. It's pretty easy to work out which side they are because they're both marked with an L or an R for obvious reasons. There are 3 bolts that hold the hinge to the bonnet. So in they go. Then just nip them up a little bit so that they're easy to undo to make any adjustments for later. And then it's the exact same thing on the other side. Which way did these go? These are on the bonnet end, I think. Yeah. This really is the fun part, just putting things back together. And then it's on with the center bonnet latch. 2 bolts, and that's in place. Then it's just the 2 outer ones, the left and the right actual bonnet latches that hold it down. Again, just 2 10mm bolts. You can see where the original marks are. So I'm just going to put the bolts in exactly the same place because these brackets are off this bonnet. Now the long but fun part. Putting on the soundproofing onto the actual bonnet. There are 2 little flaps that easily slide into the actual bonnet itself to give you a guide as to where to start. Out with the original clips and then start putting them in. That clicking sound is very satisfying. The last thing to go onto the bonnet is this weather strip on the very front. You may remember it had a double-sided tape, and if you've seen the episode when we took it off only a couple of days ago, painstakingly for about 2 hours, used thinners very, very slowly to get all of it off because it was just not coming off in any other way, shape or form. I bought some double-sided tape. It's a bit wider than what it was originally, but it'll still work just fine. We're going to put this on, leave one side still on it, clip it into place, and then pull the backing tape off and push it down as we move along, putting it into place. Let's go. There's a tiny little ridge on the side of the rubber as I moved down, which was a guide as to where the double-sided tape needed to go. Trim the edges, and let's get ready to put it on. Put in the 6 original clips, which are just guides as to where to put the actual rubber, and then do exactly as I said. As you pull off the actual backing, you lightly press down so it keeps it in place, and after that's done, give it a really good push down to make sure it is secured. Next morning, Tristan came in, gave us a hand so we can get the actual bonnet in place, because this is certainly something you don't want to try and do on your own and make a real mess and scratch things up. There are 2 13mm bolts either side that hold it in place, and the hinges, because they are freshly painted, just needed a bit of actuating to remove that squeaky sound. And just bringing it down slowly, just to make sure everything lines up first before we go and clip it down. And that's going to show me that I forgot to do something. Oh, put it up because I haven't put. There's 2 things I haven't put on. It didn't pop up because I put springs on it. Team, one thing I forgot to do, as we just found out then, the bonnet didn't pop up when we released it because I didn't put the bonnet springs back in. And when I was looking around on that website, I got a whole set of 2 for like less than $5 delivered. So let's shove them in and then the bonnet's complete. And it really is as easy as just pushing them into place, and that's it. Nice, new, shiny bonnet springs. Let's try it out. Beautiful. It is a thing of beauty. Done. This morning I went and saw Marco at Thunder Wrapping in Baldivis. Did me a great deal and got these 3 pieces wrapped in gloss black. This is the boot trim that was chrome, and here are the 2 daytime running lights covers. So we're going to get this back on, get this onto the bumper because that's next, and this is just so much closer to attention. Marco at Thunder Wrapping, his details are on the screen. If you need something done, give him a call. Yeah, do go and check Marco out. Really nice guy and a great job. Anyway, putting this boot trim back in place is as simple as clipping it back in place, returning the 2 black torque screws that were on the inside, and then the 2 torque screws that were on the outside. And that was that. Done. Then the rest of the boot had to go back in. So back in with the trim itself, lined up with the 2 plastic ends, and then put in the clips to hold those in place. Then in with all the rest of the plastic clips to hold the actual cover to the boot. Once that was done, the actual end trim itself needed to go in. And I forgot to connect the lights, so I actually had to go and undo it and then put it back in. 4 torque screws back in place, and then just the triangle holder. Poke that in first, and then just clip it into place. Put a little hinge point on. That Done. We're down to putting the bumper together. So there's a couple of things we need to get ready first, and that is we need to unwrap the sensors, put the silicone grommets on, then they're ready to go into the bumper, and we also have the daytime running lights to put together finally now that the trims are wrapped. So let's dive in and do that. Look at that, done. And as simple as getting the grommet, putting it on top, and that is ready to go into the bumper. Now remember, there's 6 of these, there's 4 that are painted, and there's the grille where the 2 were already put in earlier. So they're partly done. 4 of those are done. Let's quickly slide the newly wrapped. Now, in place. That is it all together. Right, onto the bumper. Alright, first thing to do is just to push these front bumper back onto the clip here, which is all part of the stiffening, simply because I took them off so that it could be painted. Under there. Now, I've got the old bumper right here to the side of us, simply because we can now cross-reference that exactly to see what needs to go where, and then make sure we've got everything. Let's go. First thing is the sensors can go in. You'll see down here, there's pretty much only one way it can go in. One side's higher than the other, so they're made so they can only point in one direction. And they literally just going to line up at the bottom. Well, you can see how hard I was trying to get this in, and it's not supposed to be this hard, as you'll see with some others. But I was missing one thing. There's a little keyway on the back that I end up. Wait for it. Yeah, hear that?
Like that.
That's not it clipping in. That's me breaking a tiny clip off. There's 2. But not the clips that hold it in.
Straight in.
Just a guide clip on the back, which I'll point out. That one there, that went in really easily.
This has to go this way.
And then I realised the little keyway on the back. All the others went in fine except this one. And then of course I had to go back to the first one thinking, why was that so hard? Ah, that one there. There you go, there is a difference. That one there doesn't have one on it, because I just broke it off. That's what snapped off, look at that. So that goes there. It's pins for specific spots. That one was supposed to go there. That's why it was so easy. Who knew? Okay, they're in. The other 2 are in here. The main grille needs to go in before this bumper reinforcement. Now, you'll see that this is going to clip into that. So having the old bumper right next to this one made it so much easier to literally just go across, see how it is originally, and then come back over to here and do it exactly the same. Lines up. And just clipping that in and getting that sound is satisfying, because you know it's in and none of them broke. It's just fantastic. And I'm going to say it again, this gloss black looks really good. This goes straight in and goes on top of the grille to reinforce it. Except not all of them were in place. And they should have gone there. Should have been more careful and paid attention. So it's got to come off so that they can be put in place and do it properly. line them all up. Yeah, that's better. Put down there, and that down there. Okay, right. Clip that in, clip that in. Next, pretty sure we need two. We can put the daytime running lights in and then the wiring harness. Like this. Slides in through the front. Like so. And it clips in all these. In. There. 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 In. Look at that. Other side. In. And that bottom one is in. Go to the front. Okay people, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. I think that the gloss looks far better than the drab satin look that it had simply because it was just old. That's just improved it a lot. And I think with the wrap down the bottom makes it look just a little bit more aggressive. Right, now, next bit. Okay, we'll put in the wiring harness. This is the main connector to the body wiring harness, and that blue clips into here, which means it's got to run across that way. So let's start from here. That literally goes on an angle and it does go this way, sorry. It goes like that. And now, obviously this one goes in there, you hear the clip. Now, looking at the original one, this goes under here. That's exactly what that's for. Beautiful. Go a little quickly. That should be that done. Wiring harness in, all the sensors are plugged in. Now, there's pretty much only a couple of things left to do. That is the foam, which simply sits there.
It just sits there?
We have a left and right bracket which then hold those in. So, you can see these clips here are going to go into there, these two are going to go into here, and this one on the bottom.
Can I clip?
Hang on. Make sure it's all lined up. There's two there. 1, 2.
Please do it.
Back.
Turn.
Yep, press. And that is it done. That secures the wiring. That secures that. That is the bumper completed. Let's get it on the car. I forgot one little thing. The license plate holder. Literally clips through these holes here, underneath, and then screws on top. So we just need to line up the original holes. Yep, there we go. Now this has just been going far too smoothly, hasn't it? And now that was about to change. Done. Now let's put it on the car. Well, slight bit of bafflement going on in my head because I'm trying to find the harness that plugs into the bumper and the plug, and I can't find it. I've tucked it somewhere so that it wasn't dragging on the ground when we were moving it around all these months, and now I do not know where it is. So I've got to find it first. Well, It's been well over 4 hours after 2 hours of looking for something. It's just supposed to be there. I went inside and we started looking at footage. That bumper harness, wiring harness, was attached to that headlight, the driver's side, and I could see in the picture where it went. I'll throw it on the screen now so you can see. There's a wire on the top, like a harness, a bunch of wiring that's wrapped top and bottom, and you can see that it's securely fastened to the chassis. Now have a look at this. You can very clearly see right there that that does not have any wiring attached to it. And you can see right there a bunch of wires look like they're perfectly cut off. Yep. Let me assure you people, this is not some kind of publicity stunt. I did not go and cut that plug off. We've taken it just for a couple of drives to make sure the seals are oiled and the engine's turning over and gearbox and just around here. And it has obviously fallen down and gotten run over, and that has just pulled it right on the corner where the wires go behind part of the arch, the internal arch, and it's just ripped it off, like as you've seen. I wound back the wiring after looking at the vision inside on a previous video and then going, I know exactly where it's supposed to be, and unwound it, the cloth tape, and there it is, all gone. So where to from here? You can't buy that bit on its own. You have to buy the whole harness, and I'm certainly not going to buy the whole harness because there's that much. It's just too expensive for a start. It's like $500, $480, so I've already had a super quick look. And there's so much connection because it goes straight to a fuse box inside the engine bay. So I'm going to have to find a wrecker who's willing to just lose that part, and then I'm going to have to join all of those wires, however many there is, which is going to be the far easier solution than changing everything. Everything was going just unbelievably so good. I was just super psyched earlier today, and this has really crushed me. I'm laughing about it now because I've had the time to just let it go. Lord, why? Anyway. So now the entire project has to just stop until I can sort this out. I can start calling first thing tomorrow. Tomorrow is my last day off before I go back to work. Let's see what happens. Okay, it is the next morning. I've had the night to just think about it, and just, it's what has happened has happened. It is a lesson learnt. So I got to move forward. I want the car operational. I want it licensed. So I've just got to fix it. I've been on the phone calling wreckers, trying to find one who's willing to part out a bit, but I still need to get the driver's door trim, and I still need to get the one clip for the airbox. So I need 3 pieces. And preferably, if I just get them all from one, then the better. So, working on that at the moment. In the meantime, I'm going to plug in the scanner. Well, go through the menu first to see what it says is required. Let's plug in the scanner, which I'm still learning to use, and let's see if we can clear some codes and do that and just get that as another step closer. All right, here we go. Okay, the very first thing that this shows is top up washer fluid. So let's top up the washer fluid and get rid of that. Then that was cleared. Then it was straight back to the instrument panel where the front left and the front right airbag malfunction warning was still there from when we very first got the car. Okay, it's plugged in. VCI's in. I'm low on battery because I left this stupidly on in my case. I've got about 22%, but let's just see what we can get. 24%. Let's see how far we can get. Decoding VIN. Fault scan, here we go. Scanning. Is now going through doing an entire scan of the car. All the wires that are broken are probably touching each other, and it's going to cause a stack of faults. Let's quickly check this. 56. First of all, what I need to do is separate all the wires, and then see if we can just clear all the codes, and then we'll do it again. Okay, I've separated all the wires. I've cleared one fault, which was the misfire that we've had in previous videos, because it was never done with this. This one here is the one that I think is where the two airbags saying left and right, because this is talking about front passenger has malfunction, there's an open circuit. So this is where I think, and I've got to learn how to use this. Go into it, because there should be a way to do everything in one go. Go to the trouble codes, and now I want to erase the codes. Cleared. Now I've got to go back and go through a few more, check what else there is there, and then we'll come back. So I've gone through some I haven't cleared simply because, I mean, this is the parking sensors are not connected, obviously, for the obvious reasons we all know about. So I'm not going to clear those, and the other ones are all about low voltage and open circuits because of low voltage. I had charged the battery a few days ago, so obviously it got low to a point that it's thrown a stack of codes up. I'm not going to do anything about those at this exact moment. I need to find a way where I can do quick erase. Now parking, because I've separated all the wires, it says pass, no fault. So this is now going through. I saw the quick erase before, but I wasn't able to clear it, use it. So that's going through now and clearing all those low faults, those low voltage faults. So the real test is that says that everything's cleared. Codes 0. So with that said, that means this should now have no airbag appearing. In fact, I'm going to turn it on. No faults have come up. Let's go to settings. I think there is a messages. No. Awesome. That never worked with my... I couldn't clear that with my little Bluetooth unit on my tablet. Proper Autel scanner has worked. No codes are coming up at all. There's a little airbag light down. No, it's now gone. Turn it on. Codes are gone. There's no airbag light. There's no message coming up. That is great news. So, what now? I'm going to see if I've had any responses from these records I've been getting hold of, because literally that's all we need to do is get that bit of a loom, get the door trim, get the clip, connect that harness part, put the bumper on. One thing I do got to do is, car's got to come up, got to get the panel gaps done, then the side trim can go on. Then I want to take all the wheels off quickly, just use a wire brush, clean all the discs off because they're rusty as and they're brand new. This is then good to go. I've checked the oil, that's at a good level. I do have an oil filter, an air filter, and a cabin air filter, so we can do a service, but I just want to get this thing licensed. So let's see where we're at with the wiring harness. Okay, now that the codes are cleared, I have thought of something else which we need to do anyway, and that is, I've just said about the door trim and how it's going to be changed. Well, let's take it off. So please help us out, people. Please subscribe, please like, please share the videos. And in the meantime, let's take out these two T30 screws that hold the door card in so that we can get the rest of it off. This is the corner trim that also has to come off from this corner first. Okay, you've just seen me pull this trim here off. You take it off simply because you need to take this little square pin here out to release this part of the door. And as you can see, it is already broken, which means this has been off before. Yes, and so I painstakingly tried to find this little pin. There's no pin in there. Someone's taken it out, had no idea how to put it back in, and it's gone. So I'm just going to take that square plug out. And that was easier said than done. You've already seen how this comes off from the previous videos, so that's got to come off too. Now I have watched some videos online, but that little black square one just did not want to come out, so I went on with the rest of the door and then tried to get to that. Still can't get this black one here out. Everyone online is having the same problem. Yeah, no one online was having fun with this at all. And I just broke it even more. Oh. Just undoing the rest of the wiring and the door handle. Connect the wiring, disconnect the door lock from the lever. Done. Okay, let's go through this door clip because I haven't found a video online who shows you how to get this out nice and easily without breaking it. So after you pull the middle pin out, which was not in here, this still won't come out. Now, hopefully there you can see there's a little tab, top and bottom. The inside literally has two there. So you just need to take a screwdriver, put it in and just move it down. You can see there, hopefully. So slide that in, put that down, maybe tilt it forward, and then do the same for the bottom, or still get two screwdrivers in at the same time. So you're pulling the bottom tab and the top tab down, and then it'll come out unbroken. I have asked a certain wrecker if I can remove the stuff that I need. So if I can, I will take this out and won't break it. Well, team, I've been to the wreckers way north of the river. An hour and a 10-minute drive there to go and pick up this door trim right here. I went to the wreckers that I got the bumper, fender, headlight bracket and bumper from. So all of this stuff is out of the same car. I knew there was a tiny little crack in here, which I think some super glue will probably help with. Unfortunately, that is like that. But the original door card is completely fine. So, are these parts interchangeable? Well, I'm certainly hoping so. A lot of the stuff is plastic welded. There is a couple of bolts on here I'm hoping will allow me to probably take this off or this, and then we can do some changing over. So out of the two, I should get a good one. The main trim here is nowhere near as good as my one, so my original one can go back on, and I've got the wires for the back, and obviously I've already got this controller. Now, they sent photos of the door trim. They sent photos of the wiring harness because I said what I was after. So have a look at this photo. Now remember, this is the same place I got all the parts from. The bumper. You'll see here, there is no plug on this wire. This is the wiring part that we need for the bumper. There is no plug on the end. Boom, boom. Now, I remember when I picked these up, because the bumper was already off when I got there. And I remember putting in the car and seeing it cut. And I thought, What a bunch of idiots. Why would you do that? Now you can't sell that part later if you needed to because you've cut the wiring loom. And then I thought, hang on. The bumper end has the male plug. And I thought, that means I have the female plug. And I don't throw things out. I'm definitely not throwing anything out until the project is completed. So I started hunting around. And what did I find? The plug required. Now, obviously it's a lot shorter. But I've got to go there. Well, I had to go there to go and get the door trim anyway. So when I was on the phone to them, I said, I want that extra bit of length of wire. How much for that? And they said, no, you can just have it. So not only did I get a door trim, I got the original bit of harness that it was originally connected to, and I made sure I got a bit extra length on the end so I could connect it on with no problems. Plus, I got the clip that I needed. Funnily enough, I had to get this off the same side that I already have on my one, because the side that is broken on mine was also broken on the wrecker's one. So maybe it's a common fault that it snaps off, but either way, I now have it. So we can sort that out. But in the meantime, let's see if we can swap these door cards, make a good one out of it, get it back on the car. Then while this is sitting here, I will join these two ends. Then we will work on that. Then the bumper can go on. Okay, we've had a good look at this, and talking with Jasmine, who's behind the camera, we've worked things out. You saw me take these screws and washers off from here. If you look closely, all these spots had big wide marks around them. They were originally plastic welded on, except for a couple up here, which you can clearly see were not plastic welded. But these spots all were. This has been pulled off before. We could, like I said, that plug that was holding this in was broken off. This has been pulled off before. Someone's tried to get to this for whatever reason. So now that I've worked that out, this top half can come apart. I mean, that's already been done, but there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more. If I very lightly grind those tops off, this top half will come off. Then I can literally swap this top half onto here. The original door mechanism will go back in because that's in a far better condition than this one. So with that said, let's get grinding. Just to confirm exactly what I just said. Here is the donor door card. Everything is plastic welded on. So there you go. So straight into it. Take off all the wiring that is there to the controller and then take it out of the way. Now I actually did try and use the grinder, as you can see, but it was not working out. It was too tight a spot to get into with what I needed to do. So out with my die grinder, my pneumatic one, and I just happened to have a bit that had a flat end and teeth on the end, and that worked an absolute treat, as you can see. That was super easy. This is obviously not required to be off, so I'm going to put it back on straight away. Let's move this jaw card to here. Move this to here. Get it off what we need, and then we'll clean the part we need, which is going to be this top part. And we'll get the hot stapler out, but we've got a lot more to undo here. And obviously, this particular die grinder bit has some teeth on the top. It just happens to be a good diameter. I can just go down the middle a little bit and good. Here we go. These screws out, take this insert out now, as well as these screws in here. That's undone. Bazinga! We get this bit out, get it cleaned up, put it together. Before we do that, the speaker grill on this is pretty much flawless. It just needs cleaning. Whereas on this one here, there is a scratch and a cut just there. I know it's tiny, but the fact that it's got it, and the fact that there's only 6 of these to undo, and then there's 2 clips that hold it in. Just do it. Got the trim, let's put it straight in. I put the new chrome one, or the better chrome one, with the original grill. First of all, I'm going to try a soldering iron just to bend the plastic or melt the plastic over itself, and just to see if that will work. Well, it might hold in the short term and nothing's really pushing it out. That one's quite short. I think a hot staple is probably going to be better because it'll go through and actually lock it in. We'll give the hot stapler a quick go. We're going to swap this handle with this handle because this is a little scratched up. This actual plate is fine because it's part of this. We'll just swap the plastics over because these are scratched as well. But we need to swap the handle over. And to do that, there is a tiny plastic pin just under there. That has to be pulled out from both, and then the handle swapped over. So we've actually got to drill a tiny hole, put in a screw just to be able to grab it, and then pull the pin out. Let's do that, let's swap the handle. Bazinga. Out of there. Oh. Ha! We had to change it anyway. Look at that. That's broken off. We saw that. So there you go. We had to change it. So this sits in here. Twist it that way until it's in. I need to twist it that way, sorry. And then into place like so. Literally grab it, just one of those pins, line it up and just push it in. There's just one ridge which holds it in. That. Homo. Done. I'm making the 3 tabs at the top. And we have to screw it down onto it, makes its own thread until it's just tight, and that's it, held. And that ain't going nowhere. Let's just do the same with the other side. Is that together? Right, let's put the 2 halves together. Now, because these are OEM parts and they're all bulk manufactured, everything lines up. They're even off different door cards, the same plastic weld marks all line up, so it made it very, very easy. In with the original screws, original nuts, and then did some plastic welding to put it all back in place, including using that hot stapler. I love this thing. And then it was done. Okay, it is fully together. We've put hot staples in a lot of the places. We've put the screws in where we could, and then we've gone and plastic welded all the other ones. So it is nice and sturdy. Jasmine's put the cover in here. It's been changed over the handle. Now it's just a matter of putting this back into where it's going to go, which is right here. Literally just sits there and has 4 screws on the underside, as you saw when we took it out. So I'm going to screw this in, then we can put the door trim back on the door. Let's get this door trim back on. And it's just the reverse of what we've done. I don't have this square lug, So I will order one and put it in afterwards. It's not worth putting in the broken one that was there. We'll just get a new one and it will be all good. Ah! I didn't do the door. Okay. Whew. Key. Always test things out. And the door card is in. Let's just finish putting the tweeter back in place and get on to fixing the wiring harness so the bumper can go on. I nearly forgot 2 T30 screws. On to the wiring harness. Now to soldering this plug back onto its original harness. Callum's there watching because he's actually wanting to have a go. Right, Callum's never done any soldering. He's watched me. I've explained it. Let's see how you go. We've already got it in there and we've got the last one to do. Remember, it's really hot on the end. Put the tiniest amount on there, that's it. Now you've got to grab the other wire. You very steadily, I don't know, put it next to it. Move a bit further down. Move it down a bit more. That's it. Move it down even a fraction more. There you got it. Well, you got to hold it there. Nice work. Unhook it. That's it. Slide the tube up to it. So it's right over a bit more. That's it. Heat gun.
On load?
Oh, higher low doesn't matter. It'll get hot. Shrink that tube. Good job, buddy. Okay, done. All joined. We've used some of this fabric tape. It's not as wide. Got that from, yep, you know where. And it's now all on there. This fabric tape was it's about yay wide. So regardless, that's now done. Now I just got to do the other end. I don't want to undo any more than this because the clip's there for a start. So we will make it work. I just got to move over and join this to the car. Wheels off, taking it off just so we've got far more access to get to the wiring. Plus once the bumper's on, we can then get the wheel arches in. Because it's longer. Yeah. Alright, 1 done, 7 to go. The wiring is now all soldered together, all heat shrinked, all covered up. We're now about to use this, wrap it up, clip it on to the headlight bracket. Get the bumper on. One thing to add to the bumper, other than the grille, to make it complete. And before I can still get the bumper on, I forgot about this side trim. These have to line up. As you can see, that one's slightly out. So I'm just going to move them across, get a couple in line, and then it can be knocked into place. So after moving all the clips into the right places, simply clipped it on. It took a little bit of manipulating, and then down to the underneath. There's a little edge on the side trim that hooks under the under trays, and then onto the front. And you heard something break, didn't you? Yep, the very, very front clip broke. Not happy, Jan. Luckily,
oh, are you serious?
I had another one.
Why do you have to break down? Like, really?
Put it in place, and there's that nice clicky sound, and it was done. Back underneath and put in the last bottom clip. Then I wanted to get this brake disc cleaned up before the wheel was eventually going to go back on the next day. Trim is on. I can't wait any longer. Let's just get the bumper on, plug it all in, and go from there. Finally, the car is going to look very much complete. Thank you, Lord. Wow! Leave a comment, tell me what you think. You still haven't seen the grille. The gloss black here and here looks really good. Well, I think it does. Anyway, I'll get back to this tomorrow. I need to get some sleep and get ready for church tomorrow, and then after that back tomorrow to finish this off, plug everything in, and then just get these going. Well, we're at the point where the grille is ready to go in. You haven't seen it yet because I've basically been keeping it to this point to put it in. So, still got to get the daytime running lights going. Everything seems to be gap wise, looks pretty good. I've kind of made a couple of adjustments. I think it's sitting where it should sit, but you can always be the judge of that. In the meantime, let's take this out of its package. That's it. GT style grill. So, literally just clips on top and comes in at the bottom. Line everything up and you clip it in. Wow. These line up pretty well. Leave a comment, tell me what you think. Let's get this in. So after putting the wiring through and putting the emblem into the actual grille, I did put the wire eventually into. I had to drill a hole into the actual headlight and connected it directly to the wires behind the bulb. That was the only way I can get it to work. Alright team, bonnet emblem. Tell me which one you think. I personally like the last one. It just I personally like the last one out of those bonnet emblems. It just goes with the gloss black theme. But let me know what you think. Yeah, the first one wasn't gloss black, but that could easily be changed. But I think it's just too much with that little star emblem and then directly above it, the big one. So let me know what you think. Team, getting so close now. Pedals. Sports pedals from, yep, it's going to put these on. Hopefully it's just a quick easy changeover, so let's find out. And this is one of those easy, quick changeover things that just makes a big difference to your car. Simply take the rubbers off because they literally just clipped on and just put the new ones on. It really was as simple as that. I did have to use a pair of scissors to get this one off though, being the accelerator. The new one already had a slit in the back so it could easily go on. What a change. Easy. I've just shoved the front wheel arch in on the passenger side. I'm just going to put all the screws and things in because I thought, hang on, it can all go together. That means the entire car can now go back together. So just going to finish off putting these screws in, put the wheel on, do the drive side. This car is pretty much just about done. Wheel is on. I gave it a quick clean outside just with some water, which allows me now to give it the last couple of things to go on, which are brand new center caps, black. I didn't have just all black, so that'll be just nice. And just to add to it, because we can, a little tire valve cap as well. Is nice. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Yes. Let's get this clip to the airbox on. We do not have to come up much higher than where it is, so I need to maybe grind that down, or actually I can leave that, just get it flat, put a washer underneath with a bolt all the way through with a nut just to create a post with that included. So it's just going to go there and not much higher, as you can see with that one. It is not high at all, it's literally just above the edge. Now to test if my idea worked. Ah! We'll slap you sideways into next week. Check it out. Yep. Beautiful. Team, it is bad news, but it's also good news. I've been and had the Merc inspected over the pits, as we call it here in Australia, and it didn't pass. Because the rear passenger's window switch doesn't work. The inspector said, get it fixed, come back, and he can tick it off. Everything else is sweet. So, very, very quickly, and that's other than the driver's door card, which we've just fixed. That is the only other door card I've had off, so I'm kind of thinking, did I re-plug in the switch? I'm hoping it's something as super simple as that. Let's find out. Exactly as I hoped. Look at this. That is supposed to be plugged into that. Do you think it should work now? Let's put it back together and test it. Okay, key is on. Let's check. Great success! Right, I'm literally just going to put the two screws back in and go straight back and get it the certificate, so I can then go and get some plates for it. Team, the car is licensed. Yes! That is a huge milestone. Finally. It's just such a great feeling to know that the effort you put in has a reward at the end. Team, can you believe the car is finally finished? It is such a relief. This whole journey has been awesome. Like I said in the very first video, I've been wanting to do this for a very long time, and I've now done it. I had never painted before. I had never done any body work before. Body filler, all that kind of stuff. I'd never pulled a seat apart like that and changed a cover. There were so many things I'd never done before, and I've enjoyed every single step. I certainly hope you have. Please leave final comments. Please tell me anything about what you've thought of the entire journey. Now, there's two things to go through. How much did it cost? And what's the wife decided to do with the car? Right, let's talk about the cost. So, the grand total, with a drum roll, is $6,915. That includes everything. That is buying the car, that's the auction fees, that was the trailer hire to go and pick it up. That's road permits, that's seat, paint, badges, everything, all the interior parts that I bought, the pedal covers, every tiny little thing that was bought, that's how much it cost. Expansion tanks, the grills, the headlights, the windscreen, bonnet emblems. I even bought another key that I'm going to program because I can. Even that is all part of that. The door trim, the 6 cans of the wheel paint, wheel alignment. There were three permits to be able to drive it. The WOVA inspection, getting it registered, having the pit inspection done. All of it, every single cent, that is what it cost. $6,915. Now, what's going to happen now? The wife has decided we won't be keeping it. I mean, we have a large family, so, you know, we need like a bare minimum of a 7-seater. Hence, we have a high-ace van. So the Merc is going to go up for sale. How much can I get for it? That's the next question. Remembering it's got really high Ks. It's 236,000 Ks. So, but there's a lot of things that are new on here. All the brake discs, front and back, the brake pads, some new battery. There's a stack of new stuff on here. So with that said, you know, roughly 10 to 12 is what they're selling for, even with this amount of Ks. So I'm kind of hoping if I can get 8.5, very close to that, I would be really happy. I want to make a little bit of money so that we can put it in to be able to get another vehicle. We can put some money away, invest, do something. So there you have it. August 2025. We're now mid-April 2026. I never expected it was going to take this long. I just did not. I really thought it was going to be like a 2, maybe maximum 3-month turnaround. But we started off right on the tail end of winter. I couldn't even get into the workshop if you watch the earlier videos. And then working full-time really kind of slows things down, but that's what's allowed me also to be able to do this. So I really hope you have enjoyed the videos. Please like, please share, and we'll see you on the next one.